When a waitress served Donald Trump at a quiet cafe, she expected nothing more than another routine shift. But what he left behind, a tip and a note, brought her into tears and sparked a conversation across the nation. It's a slow day at the cafe, and I'm grateful for it. I'm exhausted. I didn't get much sleep last night. Too many worries on my mind. Rent is due and I don't have it. I've been struggling to make ends meet for months now, and it's taking a toll on my body and mind. I'm tired all the time, and I feel beaten down by life. The cafe is quiet, with only a couple of customers, and they're both finished with their drinks. It's almost my break time, and then I'll be able to sit down for a few and maybe get my head clear. Maybe. The bell on the door rings, signaling a customer, but I don't look up. I'm wiping down the counter, lost in thought. My head is full of dark images, of myself homeless, living on the streets. I can't afford to be sick. I have no safety net. If something happens to me, I'm done. The bell rings again, more insistently this time. I look up, startled, and see a man standing at the counter. He's tall with a familiar face. I know him, but I can't place him. He's surrounded by men in black suits, and they're all looking around the cafe. I feel a chill run down my spine. Who is this man? Why are they here? My heart skips a beat as I realize who he is. Donald Trump, the former president of the United States. He's standing in my cafe, looking at me. I feel like I'm in a dream or a nightmare. I try to smile to be professional, but my mind is racing. What is he doing here? Does he know who I am? Does he know what I've been through? My hands are shaking as I reach for his order. I hope he doesn't notice. I don't want him to think I'm weak. I take a deep breath and focus on his face. He's looking at me, his eyes boring into mine. I feel like he can see right through me, like he knows all my secrets. But he doesn't say anything. He just smiles and orders a cappuccino and a croissant. His voice is calm and polite, but I can hear the power behind it. This is a man who is used to getting what he wants. I nod and smile, trying to hide my nerves. I move quickly behind the counter, grabbing the cup and plate for his order. My hands are still shaking, but I'm trying to keep them steady. I don't want him to see how scared I am. I bring his order over and set it down in front of him with a smile. "Thank you," he says politely, reaching for his wallet. He pulls out a receipt and looks at it for a moment before putting it back in his pocket and walking over to the table by the window. He sits down and looks out at the street, lost in thought. I watch him for a moment before turning back to my duties behind the counter. The other customers are staring at him too. They can't believe that Donald Trump is sitting in our small cafe. They're whispering and pointing, trying not to be obvious but failing miserably. I go back to wiping the counter, trying to ignore them and focus on my work. "Excuse me," a voice says softly, breaking the tension. I look up to see one of the men in suits standing beside me. "He wants to talk to you," he says, nodding towards Trump, who is now looking directly at me. I feel a jolt of fear mixed with curiosity. What does he want to talk about? I nod and follow the man over to Trump's table. Trump looks up at me and smiles, gesturing for me to sit down. This is not something that happens every day. In fact, it's never happened before. I've never sat down with a customer, let alone the former president of the United States. But something about him makes me feel like this is okay, like he really wants to talk to me. "I see you're working hard," he says, his voice steady and calm. I nod, unsure of what to say. "Yes, sir. It's just my job." He smiles and leans forward a bit. "I remember times when things weren't easy for my family either. We had to work hard to make ends meet." His words surprised me. I didn't expect him to talk about his own struggles. But as he continues, I realize that he's trying to make a point, to connect with me on some level. "My grandfather came over from Scotland when he was just a boy," he explains. "He had nothing but a few dollars in his pocket and a dream of making something of himself. He worked hard and eventually became successful, but it wasn't easy. he had to fight for every penny. I listen intently as he talks, hearing the sincerity in his voice. This isn't just some story, it's his life, and he's sharing it with me because he wants me to know that he understands what I'm going through. I know it's not easy for you now, he continues, looking directly into my eyes, but I want you to know that things will get better. You're working hard, and that's something to be proud of. Don't give up on your dreams. His words are simple but powerful. They touch something deep inside of me, something that I've been holding on to for so long. Tears spring to my eyes as I look at him, feeling a sense of understanding wash over me. This man, this powerful man who has been through so much himself, is taking the time to talk to me and offer words of encouragement. It means more than he could ever know. Thank you, I say softly, reaching out to shake his hand. He takes mine firmly in his own and squeezes it gently. Remember what I said, he tells me as he stands up. Don't give up on your dreams. I watch as he adjusts his suit and nods to the men in suits. They fall in step behind him as he walks out of the cafe, disappearing into the crowd on the street. I stand there for a moment, feeling the weight of his words still echoing in my mind. Then I turn and go back to the counter, determined to make it through this day with a newfound sense of hope. As I pick up the receipt he left behind, I notice something scribbled on it. It's not just the generous tip that catches my eye, it's the handwritten note. My heart races as I read his words, echoing what he told me just moments before. Your kindness and hard work don't go unnoticed. My family has been where you are. Stay strong. Brighter days are coming. I tuck the note into my apron pocket, feeling its weight like a talisman. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. I wipe my eyes and take a deep breath, tucking the note securely into my apron pocket. I glance around the cafe, noticing the curious stares of the customers who witnessed our conversation. But I'm not going to let it faze me. I have work to do, and I'm determined to carry on with renewed purpose. I approach the table where a young couple is waiting for their order, forcing a smile onto my face. As I serve them, they look at me curiously. Was that really Donald Trump? The woman asked softly. I nod, still feeling a bit stunned myself. Yes, it was. He came in for a cappuccino and a croissant. The couple exchanges a glance, their eyes wide with excitement. That's amazing, the man says. He's such an inspiration. I smile politely, not wanting to get drawn into a conversation about politics. It was certainly unexpected, I reply. The couple nods and digs into their food, leaving a generous tip behind when they leave. As the day goes on, more customers come and go, each one leaving behind a kind gesture or a few words of encouragement. It's as if the energy of Trump's visit has infused the cafe with a newfound sense of purpose, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. I tuck the note into my apron pocket and approach the counter, feeling a sense of gratitude wash over me. This day may have started out rough, but it's turning out to be something truly special. As I go about my work, I feel a sense of renewed energy and purpose. The cafe is bustling with activity, and the air is filled with the sweet scent of pastries and the hum of conversation. I move from table to table, taking orders and delivering drinks with a smile on my face. The note in my apron pocket feels like a talisman, reminding me that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. As I slide a steaming cup of coffee across the counter to a waiting customer, I feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. This day may have started out rough, but it's turning out to be something truly special. And as I look around at the smiling faces of the people in this cafe, I know that we're all in this together. We're all working hard and doing our best, just like Trump said. And with that knowledge, we can face whatever challenges come our way. As the morning rush subsides and the cafe grows quiet once again, I take a moment to catch my breath. I lean against the counter and let my mind wander back to the events of the day. The note in my apron pocket feels like a weight, a reminder of the unexpected turn my day has taken. I wonder what would happen if I shared it with others, if I let them know that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. As I stand there lost in thought, one of my coworkers approaches me with curiosity in her eyes. "Hey, what happened earlier?" she asked softly. "I saw you talking to Donald Trump. What was that all about?" I hesitate for a moment before reaching into my apron pocket and pulling out the note. "It was nothing," I reply softly. "He just came in for a drink." But as I look at the note in my hand, I realize that it's more than that. It's a message of hope and resilience, a reminder that even when things seem bleak, there is always something to hold on to. "He left this behind," I explain gently, holding out the note for her to see. As she takes it from my hand, her eyes widen with surprise and understanding. "Wow," she whispers. "That's incredible." I nod, feeling a sense of camaraderie wash over me. The cafe may be quiet, but in this moment, we're not alone. We're connected by the events of the day and by the knowledge that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. As my coworker returns to her duties, I tuck the note back into my apron pocket and take a deep breath. The cafe may be quiet, but I'm not alone. I have the note in my pocket, reminding me of Trump's words in the power of kindness. And as I go about my work, I feel a sense of renewed purpose and determination. The day may have started out rough, but it's turning out to be something truly special. And as I approach the next table, ready to take their order and serve them with a smile, I know that no matter what challenges come my way, I'll face them with courage and determination. I step forward, ready to embrace whatever comes next. As the day goes on, my coworker can't stop talking about the note that Trump left behind. She's intrigued by the idea of a famous person taking the time to write a message of encouragement, and she keeps asking me to tell her more about it. Finally, she suggests that I share it on social media, hoping to spread the message of kindness and hope to even more people. At first, I'm hesitant. I'm not one for sharing personal things online, and I'm not sure if this is something that should be shared. But as I think about it, I realize that it could make a difference in someone's life. So I agree, and we take a photo of the note together. "Your kindness and hard work don't go unnoticed," it reads. "My family has been where you are. Stay strong. Brighter days are coming." As we post the photo online, I add a brief caption explaining what happened. "Today was a tough day," I write, "but then Donald Trump came into my cafe and left this note behind." It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. As soon as we post it, notifications start flooding in. People are liking and commenting on the photo, sharing their own messages of encouragement and support. The post starts to gain traction, being shared by thousands of people across the country. I watch in disbelief as my phone buzzes nonstop, the comments and messages pouring in at an alarming rate. By evening, major news outlets have picked up the story and are running with it. I'm interviewed on live TV, sharing my side of what happened and reading aloud from the note that Trump left behind. As I sit in front of the camera, answering questions and speaking about the power of kindness, I realize just how much of an impact this has had on people's lives. The note may have been small, but its message is profound. And as I look out at the camera lens, knowing that millions of people are watching at home, I feel a sense of gratitude wash over me. This day may have started out rough, but it's turned into something truly special. And as I return home after the interview, exhausted but fulfilled, I know that no matter what challenges come my way in the future, I'll face them with courage and determination. The next day, I stand behind the counter, watching as customers come and go, their faces lit with curiosity. The cafe is buzzing with chatter about the note that went viral, and I can't help but smile as I watch them all. My coworker nudges me, a mischievous glint in her eye. "We should frame that note," she suggests softly, "and put it up for everyone to see." At first, I'm hesitant. I'm not sure if I want to share it with the world like that. But then I think about the power of Trump's words and the impact they've already had on so many lives. So I nod, reaching into my apron pocket to retrieve the note. As I smooth out its creases, I feel a sense of determination wash over me. This note isn't just a message of kindness. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. And as we find a simple frame and hang it near the entrance of the cafe, I watch as customers pause to read it. Some leave with smiles on their faces, while others nod thoughtfully as they continue on their way. But no matter their reaction, I know that this note has made a difference in their lives. As I lock up the cafe and step out into the evening air, I glance back at the note in its frame. As I step into my modest apartment, the familiar scent of my mother's cooking envelops me, immediately making me feel at home. Sarah Miller, my mother, glances up from the stove with a warm smile as I enter. "Hey, honey," she greets me softly. "How was your day?" I drop my bag onto the floor, sinking onto the couch with a sigh. "It was incredible," I reply, my voice tinged with disbelief and excitement. "You won't believe who came into the cafe today." Sarah raises an eyebrow as she continues to stir the pot of simmering soup. "Try me," she challenges gently. I take a deep breath, reliving the surreal moment when Donald Trump walked into our humble cafe. "Well," I begin slowly, "it was Donald Trump." Sarah's eyes widen in surprise as she turns to face me fully now. "The former president?" she asks incredulously. I nod, still hardly believing it myself. "And he left a note for me on the receipt." Without thinking, I reach into my pocket and pull out the crumpled receipt, smoothing it out on the coffee table in front of me. As Sarah comes to sit beside me, her eyes scan over the handwritten words. "Your kindness and hard work don't go unnoticed," she reads softly. "My family has been where you are. Stay strong. Brighter days are coming." Tears prick at the corners of my eyes as I remember the overwhelming sense of hope that had flooded through me when I read those words for the first time. "It's amazing," Sarah comments finally, her voice filled with emotion, "that he would take the time to write such a thoughtful message." I nod, feeling a sense of gratitude wash over me once again. It reminded me that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, I explained softly. And it's clear that his message has resonated with so many others already. Sarah reaches out to squeeze my hand gently as we sit there in silence for a moment. Then she stands up, returning to the stove to finish preparing our simple yet nourishing meal together. As we sit down at our small table to eat, I glance over at the receipt still lying on the coffee table. It's a reminder that even in unexpected moments, kindness and hope can enter our lives and change everything forever. As the day goes on, the cafe stays busy, with people coming from all over to catch a glimpse of the famous note. I'm running nonstop, taking orders and serving drinks with a smile. But as I glance up at the entrance, I notice a young woman hesitating there. She's dressed in a professional outfit, her eyes scanning the room as if searching for someone. As our gazes meet, she steps forward, her eyes locked on the note in the frame. "Hi," she says softly, approaching me at the counter. "I'm so sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if I could ask you some questions." I nod, sensing that this is more than just a curious customer. "Of course," I reply, wiping my hands on my apron. "What can I get for you?" She smiles, her eyes lighting with gratitude. "Actually, I'm a journalist," she explains, "and I'm here to do an interview about what happened with Donald Trump." My heart skips a beat as I realize who she is. I've seen her on TV before, reporting on major news stories and asking tough questions with ease. But now she's standing in front of me, asking for my side of the story. "Sure," I say finally, nodding as I lead her to a corner table. "We can talk there." As we sit down, she pulls out a small notebook and pen, her eyes shining with curiosity. "So tell me," she begins gently, "what was it like when Trump came into your cafe? And what did his note mean to you?" I take a deep breath as memories flood back through my mind. "It was surreal," I explained softly. "I couldn't believe that he was actually standing there in our cafe, But then he smiled and ordered like any other customer. And when he left behind that note, I paused, remembering the tears that had streamed down my face at his words. It reminded me that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. The journalist nods thoughtfully as she scribbles down some notes. That's incredible, she says softly. And it's clear that his message has resonated with so many people already. As we finish our interview and she leaves with a smile, I realize just how much of an impact this has had on the world. The rest of the day flies by in a blur, with customers coming and going as I rush to keep up with their orders. But even as I'm exhausted by the end of my shift, I know that this has been a day unlike any other. It's a reminder of kindness and hope, a message that has touched so many lives already. And as I walk away into the future, I know that no matter what challenges come my way, I'll face them with courage and determination. If you want part two of this story, kindly let us know in comment section. Also turn on notification for daily upcoming stories like this.